With the death of the Archduke, Europe is propelled into chaos. Nations honoring treaties and alliances forged years before are now plunged into a conflict they cannot avoid, sparked by a single gunshot. Here on the Western Front, nations draw their battle lines. The Central Powers of Austria-Hungary and Germany now face the combined alliance of France, Britain, and their colonies. The Great War is about to begin.
Melde gehorsamst! Die russische Zweite Armee wurde bei Tannenberg umfassend zurückgeschlagen. Aber ihre Truppen wurden schneller mobilisiert, als wir es erwartet hatten.
Und was ist mit unserem Vormarsch durch Belgien?
Aus Belgien wird erheblicher Widerstand gemeldet und das britische Expeditionsheer ist nunmehr in den Konflikt eingetreten. Unsere Befähigung, die Westfront zu überrennen, wurde ein wenig eingeschränkt. Aber ich bin zuversichtlich, dass...
Paris?
Bei unserem Durchbruch an der Marne erleiden wir schwere Verluste. Unsere Befehlshaber vor Ort sind versprengt. Von Kluck hat sich mit seinem Armeeverband auf das Nordufer der Enn zurückgezogen und baut dort Stellungen aus, damit wir uns für einen Großangriff auf Frankreich sammeln können.
Russland im Osten, Großbritannien und Frankreich im Westen. Alle graben sich ein. Wir müssen wachsam bleiben.
Thus the Western Front was established. From the fields of Flanders to the borders of Switzerland, the great nations would make their stand. The fate of millions was now in the hands of a few.
Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome to the Great War Western Front. This is a new game and, well, it's gonna be a bloody one. Because the Western Front is one of the most slow yet infantry grinding games that I've seen lately. I played the demo during the Steam Next Fest and I went through the tutorial. If you don't manage your infantry well, they're just gonna get absolutely demolished. Now I'm gonna start the campaign. It is Germany 1914. We're surrounded on all sides by powerful enemies. That's good. It means we can shoot out in every direction and hit somebody that's not our friend. War was declared on Russia, but Germany pushed through Belgium to capture Paris in order to remove Russia's ally and keep the war to one front. This, however, triggered Britain's defensive alliance with Belgium. Oops. Unable to reach the sea to outflank Britain, Germany was forced to dig in. In an unparalleled act of humanity, British and German soldiers agreed to a ceasefire on Christmas Day. Both sides entered no man's land to exchange gifts and start up a game of football. Others took the time to rest, repair their trenches, and recover the dead. This act of compassion was never to be repeated for the remainder of the war. Soon after the event, the orders came down. Push forward, take new ground, defeat the enemy. And that is what I intend to do. Now, the key for this game was kindly provided by the developers, and I have access to the game a bit earlier than you might, because I am recording this on March 22nd, and the game is going to be coming out on March 30th. So by the time that you're watching this, or at least by the time that this video goes live, that's going to be in a couple of days from now. So what's the game about? Well, the objective is to, of course, crush the Western powers, considering I am playing as Germany. I can, however, not lose Kreuznach. This is my HQ. If Kreuznach gets taken out, I'm going to be in trouble. Now, the essence of the game is a two-parter. You got the strategic layer, which is what I'm currently at, and all of these hexagonal sectors have stars. Vouziers over here has 2 stars. This means that this particular area can get hit twice before it's going to get taken over by the other side. Stenai over here is going to take 4 hits. So in this way, you can sort of plan your attacks and try to spot weak spots. If you're sometimes trying to cross into heavily defended sectors, such as Verdun, you're also going to be looking at additional obstacles, potentially such as rivers. Now, I have quite a lot of things that I need to be managing. Over here on the bottom left-hand side, you got gold reserves. You use that to buy new units, region structures, etc. And I have global supply. Supply is basically your in-game, more tactical battle currency. So when you want to actually buy units in the battle, that's when you use supply. Want to fire an artillery salvo? Supply. Call an aircraft? Yes, there are a few biplanes that you can call in. Supply. So be careful with your supplies. Can you increase those? Yes, but it's not easy. As for the other options that we have, I can have the purchase menu and you can see that I can transfer supply, which is 150 of my cash, to 500 supplies. So this way you can replenish your global supply, but it is fairly pricey. As for the other one, I have research, and this is the tech tree. Now I have quite a lot of different parts that I can focus on. You can go for flight, which will unlock fighters and eventually potentially going for bombing runs. It's going to get expensive though, so beware that if you're going to go this route, you're going to have to suffer somewhere else. Maybe you're going to have planes, but maybe the planes don't really know where to go because you don't exactly have a lot of intelligence researched. So all of these things are going to be interesting to research. Whether it's best to go for one particular tree or everything at once, I don't know. It's going to be a matter of let's just find out. When it comes to engineering, this one unlocks heavy artillery. I start with that. Gives me a stat boost. And we're going to go and progress down. And eventually you're going to get to tank advancements. You can see that some of these things also lead to each other. So if you go from logistics storage tent to the storage shack to eventually the limited exchange, you're also going to end up at the tank. So it's not like you're going to have to go from one tree all the way at the top to all the way at the bottom. You don't have to. Sometimes you can have sort of cross gaps, such as here gas shells lead to chlorine gas. So there are different ways of approaching this tech tree. Now, when it comes to additional research that I want to do now, I have 3 research points which allow me to unlock research. I think unlocking first aid tents is going to be useful because it gives me the field hospital, reducing the cost of replenishing soldiers after battle by 20%. Seeing as I'm going to be losing probably a decent amount of troops, probably a good idea to have a field hospital. So let's get that. And I can then further upgrade that to get camaraderie, which will give me the canteen, or the triage tent if only I had more research. Over here I can get the ability called Intelligence, Regional Intel, which will reveal all the structures. Now this is very useful. It also shows the supply levels. So if you can use the Intel ability and see that somebody's sector is weak, you can go for that sector. And if you hit that sector hard enough, you might just break through. Logistics is going to give me the supply depot, increasing the region's supply pipeline cap to 400. Supply pipeline cap means that you can only pump so many supplies into any region at any given time. So it's not like you're instantly going to mobilize and send 1500 supply to an area where you want to start attacking. You're going to have to do this in phases, as your supply capacity is somewhat limited. Over here we have the trenches. The trench engineering unlocks improved firing trench. And considering that we're going to be doing potentially some defensive warfare here and there, I think we might use this. So let's get that done. Now, as for my units, these units have abilities, the regions has abilities. This one, however, is all locked, because I don't have any of the structures that I require. When it comes to the things that I can do, you can see here the airfield, I can't get that, but I can get a field hospital. So this one is going to replenish, or reduce the cost of replenishing the soldiers. That's what I just unlocked. Considering that Oudenaarde and Ghent are pretty likely to come under attack, I don't think it might be the best option here to start building a field hospital. But in a potentially stronger position, such as maybe here, especially if I want to start pushing it to Verdun at some point, maybe the area of Stenay or the sector of Luxembourg could do with a field hospital. But, oh sorry, they already have a field hospital 1. They do not yet have a field hospital 2. So let's give these guys a field hospital. And I don't think that I need a whole lot of other things right now. I just need to start thinking, where do I want to attack? Where do I want to go? I can see that these guys have 2 units, as indicated by these 2 unit chips. These unit chips sometimes work well together, sometimes they don't. In my case, it's not a problem, because all my units speak German, since they're all German soldiers. But when it comes to the British and the French, that is not true. Because if the British and the French are together in the same sector, then they could very well not talk to each other that well. In the demo or tutorial, it was explained that the officers simply don't get along, and this is going to give your troops a morale debuff. And if your morale eventually breaks, then your troops are likely to run off. Now, there is an unknown makeup of the region core that's holding this particular territory, and I just want to start pushing in here. It is likely going to resolve in a stalemate. I'm going to have 60 men and a bunch of artillery weapons, and I can either have this get auto-resolved, or I can engage the battle. The attack is going to cost me 100 supply, and then I'm going to have 350 left. So I'm going to have to be pretty careful. There's also a blizzard, reducing line of sight. This can definitely be a benefit, depending on how well it's going to go for the trenches. Now the the active event is to demoralize them. I need to demoralize the French. So as much as I would like to go for this particularly weakened sector, I need to start demoralizing the French. And also the British. But the French and the British are working together. And so long as you can cut their national will down by them losing battles, you'll eventually start making progress. Now I think over here in Viale, we have 4 units that can move against a couple over here in Châtillon-sur-Marne, which is only 2. It is still a blizzard here, so the weather isn't particularly good, but at least I outnumber them. So I'm going to push everybody in, and this is likely going to result in a minor victory. I got 600 supply, so let's go. Now the battle conditions, not great. I hope my guys are well protected from the blizzard. And I also hope that I'm going to be able to spot things in this awful, awful weather. Whether that will be a thing, we'll just have to find out. I think my guys are going to have to spot, and then the RD is going to rain down on them. But keep in mind, artillery firing costs you supplies. So here we are. We're starting with essentially nothing. Over here we have a victory point. We have the X, Y, and Z. They have victory points C, B, and A, or A, B, and C, depending on how you want to look at it. If you can capture this area, that is going to give you a bunch of bonuses. Sometimes it's going to result with units coming in, sometimes it's going to result in additional troops becoming available or getting a different supply point. Because if you look at the map over here, next to the C point is this plus icon, this multi-directional icon that says you can reinforce from here. So if you want to pull forces into C, you can do that. If I capture C, let's say I'm coming from position Z, and I take over position C, I'm going to be able to respawn from here. So that's very, very useful. Now, considering that we have a bit of forest up ahead, I'm not sure if this is going to be an asset or a liability. Because this forest might make it very, very, very difficult to actually push through for both sides. So I'm not sure how well I should take that. As for the supply that I have available, if you look at how much a heavy field artillery battery is going to cost, that's 90 to deploy it. If you then want to shoot it, you're going to be paying some more. As for the type of trenches that I can build, I have the basic firing trench, and because I have researched it, I have the improved firing trench. Grants targeting immunity from rifle fire and medium protection from artillery and tanks, whereas these guys only get a bit of protection. Vulnerable to bomber harassment missions. Hopefully they don't have those. Over here I already have a bit of trench. It's not necessarily ideal, and if I decide that I don't want it, I can remove it. Now let's go for a plan. I want to hold on to this, because crossing through the open into C might be very, very difficult. Whereas over here with A, if they don't defend it well enough, I can just sneak troops right through the forest and start pushing onto A. So I want to have this one upgraded. And this one I'm going to hold as it is. So this is my main defensive trench here. When it comes to troops, I can push a troop into this trench. I'm going to push a troop into that trench. And seeing as this point is easily reinforceable, I can just hold on to that. Oh, the last type of trench that you can build, by the way, is the comms trench. You get a large bonus to movement. It cannot be garrisoned, so it's just there to transit from one part to another. So let's say that you have another trench here. This way you can move from this trench to that trench. And that actually could be beneficial. So I'm going to set up a comms trench. That is if I can. But it's not quite going the right way. Here we go. So now I can very quickly go from here to there to there. I'm also going to push the guys away from here. And I'm going to put them over there. Now I have 78 of these groups of units that I can call in, so I got a load of them. When it comes to the sector over here, I'm going to play a bit more defensively. So I'm going to go with a machine gun nest. And you can attach these essentially to any trench. So if they decide that they want to cross the bridge, then they're going to have a hard time doing that. I would also very much like a weather balloon. It's going to reveal the fog of war. It's, however, pretty expensive. So you can see by my positioning here how much it's going to reveal. And over here I'm going to reveal pretty much the whole map. I can see A, B, and C sectors, but it means that I don't have a lot of supplies in order to get additional support units. And I do want some support. This is suppression over time, very fast fire rate, fast cooldown. This one suppresses targets, causes friendly fire, of course, it's longer range. So if you look at these things, if I put them all the way behind Y, or close to Y, I can't do that much damage. These things can, they got a bigger range, bigger range. So in this case, let's just put one battery over there. And I really don't want to spend too much more. I just want to get a couple of additional troops. Let's get one in the trench here. I also want to have... Yeah, this machine gun's pretty decent. I want to have another machine gun here, because I know that those things are ridiculously good. And I'm going to save the rest, so I'm going to begin the battle. Here we go. Now it's time to start calling in troops. I'm also going to raise the observation balloon so I can actually start spotting things. And I can start calling in some troops. So let's go for 5 groups. And if I want to use my artillery, I can do that, but it's going to cost me some money. Or rather, it's going to cost me a bit of points if I want to use that. The precision barrage costs you 9 supplies every time you fire it, so beware. Right now, I don't really have the advantage. The Allied forces have more troops. So right now, it's not looking that good, and I should probably call in a bunch more. Let's go for a couple more groups. Now I only have 161 left. It's entirely possible that I will lose this first fight. And that's okay. I'm considering this as a learning experience. And if it doesn't work out, then so be it. I'm also very curious to see if we have any... Yeah, we got movement here from the French group. Oh, hold on. There's a load of guys in here. Get back. Yeah, I'm gonna have to retreat a couple of these guys. These guys too. You can withdraw a company, and this way it won't actually cost you any casualties of sorts. I'm gonna see if the British are willing to push into me. If they're going to pursue me here. And they are. Which, in their case, is probably not their best bet. Yeah, we also got another group coming in here. I don't know if they're gonna take this thing down. But here we go. They pushed in, and that got basically everybody killed. The whole group just died, and there goes my weather balloon. So yeah, that got expensive. That got expensive. That was 150 that I probably shouldn't have placed, although it did give me some visual for the time being. The mission objective is to defeat 10 French companies, and just note how quickly those 2 died. Now, time for the trench to do its miraculous work. And there goes another company. And this is exactly what I meant when I said in the intro that you just churn through units like crazy. It seems like we're losing this particular trench. I want you guys to start working this over. And they're about to capture X, but I'm just going to hold my forces back for a while and let them just grind right into this trench before even attempting a counterattack. And you can see that their line is starting to crumble. I want you guys to position yourself that way. There are a lot of Frenchies around. And now it's man-to-man fighting in the trench. But it's gonna cost them a lot of troops. I already have the mission objective complete. This French group is already retreating. Look at how many guys they've been losing. Now, let's get our sector back. And I'm gonna do a bit of a probe with one group. Seeing if I can actually get in there. They stopped capturing it. There they are. Now, they're not in a trench, so they don't exactly have an advantage here. It looks like they're going to completely lose the company. Yep. Company destroyed. My company is also not doing too hot, so I'm going to order it to withdraw. And by withdrawing it, it frees up the pop cap. Does not count as defeat with respect to the score. So in this way, you can still save some score. I have, however, lost a substantial amount of my troops already, and I do have some supplies, but I don't particularly feel that comfortable about it. When it comes to this trench, I'd ideally like to avoid it. So let's go right through the forest and see if they're protecting this place. Skirmish formation. Yep, they're definitely protecting the place here. Oh, damn. Let's get some artillery involved here. Good lord. Start running, boys. We're going to need some additional troops, I think. Because at this rate, we won't have a lot of troops left. At least we got our sector back. Progress. I should have just let these guys build a few more trenches and reinforced the line. Trying to get the French to push into my lines and lose a whole bunch more. Now, as far as I know, there's no way to reinforce these guys in the field. So I'm just going to pull these away. And I'm going to get a new group involved. I still got my positions here. These guys are going to take over. You can really see the effects of this blizzard because it's making it quite difficult to move in. This trench here is far better designed than mine. I.e. it exists. Whereas mine mostly does not. And potentially I should just be using far more groups. But then again, learning experience. If you want to get the game, by the way, by all means, click the link down below in the description. And you'll be supporting the channel by getting it through the Humble Bundle. Let's see. Can we safely avoid... Whoa! How did you know about that? So you can see me then, huh? Considering that was a pretty big barrage, it probably cost them a bunch. So I'm curious to see if I can keep kiting their supply over with these attacks. If that makes sense. I'm trying to get them to spend... Hello. Spend their supplies. Let's see if that's gonna make any kind of an impression on them. Yes, it does. And the French don't seem to be having a great time here. Holy crap, we're right on top of each other. That's how bad this blizzard is. That's pretty disastrous. Okay, you're gone. I'm not sure if I'm actually taking any kind of terrain cover here. or if it's just luck. No idea. I got 118 supplies left, so I could go for a mass attack, but this is World War I, and mass attacks generally don't work that well. I do know that this trench is facing this way, so I might be able to sneak in from here, provided that these trenches don't see me and start murdering me. Let's get a couple more groups in, and I might have to open up with a barrage. Yeah, I know our supplies are not doing too hot. So be it. The French, if I'm not mistaken, still have a bunch of supplies, but you see that the moment that they started shooting, they lost some supplies. Now, the fact that they have supplies does not mean that they have a whole lot of infantry left, because they did lose a bunch in the attack that they tried to do. So, in that sense, perhaps they have a lot of supplies left, but nothing to spend it on, because they don't have any infantry left. I want you guys to... No, I want you guys to start spreading out. There's probably a hotkey for that, but I don't know it yet. Yep. Oh boy. This is problematic. Get back, get back, get back, get back. Yep, they're coming in again. The arty barrage might do something, but I'm not too sure. Let's get the other 4 groups involved. Basically, with this attack, I'm trying to make it hurt worse for them than for me. And right now, I honestly can't tell you if I'm succeeding or not. Let's get you guys out of here so I don't actually... Whoa! Have those as considered lost. Still got 72 supplies. Hello. Can I help you? Thought so. Okay, so that's another group with the French down. I think we might be in concealment because they're, like, invisible. But I haven't fought in a forest yet, so I don't know if that's how this game mechanic works. Oh, there's more. They do seem to know where I am, so I wonder if they have a weather balloon up. And if yes, then where? Yep, there's something shooting me from here, perhaps? Not sure. Anyway, in hindsight, of course, I should have put that weather balloon somewhere like here, or here, where I could actually defend it. Because now I just wasted 150 supplies on something that I can't actually use anymore. Okay. I want you guys to basically defend the place here, if you want to call it that. Go. I want the arty to start blowing holes in this thing. Holy moly, we're losing so many troops. Everything's dying. Updated. Everything's dead, in fact. German infantry retreated, 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 surrendered. Nice. So, I wonder, if I offer a ceasefire, it does not guarantee a win or a loss. I'm going to offer a ceasefire to the French and see what happens. Ceasefire. They're won by inches, not miles. Yeah, I'll believe that. But what's the casualty rate? Ooh. Replenishment cost for me, relatively lower than for them. Interesting. They lost 2,600 infantry, and I lost 4,300 infantry, so I lost a load more. They also destroyed a balloon, and they got one of my machine guns destroyed, so that gave them points. I did not get any map objectives for that. So, in essence, I lost this battle. I think, yeah, the game considers it a stalemate. The French lost a few more points, but it doesn't feel like I won that one particularly well. Stalemate. Nobody gained any national will or lost anything. It's going to cost me 354, and it's going to cost me 100 of the supplies. I did, however, get their objective. The troops have been shown their own potential mortality. Men will think twice when deciding to enlist. That gave me 400 gold reserves, but unfortunately it doesn't last more than 1 turn. So I might have gotten some cash out of it, but that's about it. As for further purchases, I can get more supplies, but I'm not sure if that's going to be useful. Anyway, that'll be it for this first episode. In the next one, well, there's plenty more terrain. There's plenty more troops that I should be starting to send this way as well. So let's start marching these guys over. And at this point, we might actually have a substantial force that we can use to, I don't know, push into Bar-le-Duc, for example. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what your thoughts are down below, and I'll see you soon for more of this new game. Western Front, the Great War Western Front. Thanks for watching.